Hi guys, welcome to my channel, The Honest Perfume Reviewer. I just thought I'd put together a video that kind of describes my taste in fragrance and what I typically talk about on this channel. This is something that I have myself been looking for when I'm looking for new people to follow. Instead of having to browse through their whole video base and then just realize that there's no overlap in taste. Sometimes you can kind of see what they're talking about, like they have top 10 gourmand lists or whatever, and then I realize it's probably not for me, but they could also be into other things. So I just like to kind of mention what my taste is evolving all the time, but I do kind of have one a profile, my taste profile that can be described. And I really like heavy. I've always been, even when I was young, into heavy fragrances, like heavy, kind of bold, but not weird fragrances that project a lot. I don't like wearing a fragrance and not being able to smell it myself. I think that's one of the most important qualities in a fragrance, that I can actually smell it and enjoy it myself. It's not super important that a fragrance lasts forever. I have this, I don't typically talk about freshies. I do have an occasional freshie in my collection. Cedro de Diamante is such a beautiful lemon fragrance, kind of a straight out of the shower fragrance. There's a little pink pepper or something spicy going on underneath, but it goes away really quickly, but I can at least enjoy it for a half hour and I love it. But I'd say a fragrance that really represents my taste would be something like Le Lion from Chanel. I do talk about designer exclusives, not so much designer fragrances in general, although there are exceptions. Like one of my favorite fragrances from the good old days is Safari by Ralph Lauren, which is like a heavy green, powdery floral that kind of is, to me, smells like luxury. I've been through bottles of that over the years. Chypre Palatin from MDCI, I would say, also represents my taste in fragrance a lot. This combines sort of lots of vintage qualities. I'm sure it has oak moss and it might have some fruits in the top, like peach. Otherwise, I'm not a fruity girl at all, but this is an ambery fragrance, like an ambery resinous fragrance that is kind of inspired by the Middle East. I'm very much into that style of fragrance. I love ouds, I love resins, I love anything in the ambery category. I love a good heavy floral with a good ambery base that might have woods in the base. It might have resins. It might have leather. I don't like leather prominent, super loud leather fragrances. But for example, Opera is one of my favorite fragrances. This is a super sparkly. It has a kind of a fruity top, but it's kind of a heavy floral, beautiful fragrance with a little bit of leather in the base that I can't even tell that it's leather, but it kind of does give that depth to the fragrance. Yeah, I do love Xerjoff. They're floral fragrances that have a nice kind of vanillic kind of base. I also have Decas, which is kind of also resinous. This is a tobacco mandarin tuberose and kind of a eucalyptus type fragrance. But it's really, really special. It's a big fragrance. I really like big fragrances. If I'm going to a party or something, then I'll wear a little bit, maybe more of a people pleaser. Opera is kind of close to this one, but Vixere from Electimuss is this one. I wore this together with a few drops of Musk Ravageur to a party Saturday. I felt like $1 million. I felt like these together are just really represent my style, but it's not I don't think I would wear what have I got here that would be a little bit more, maybe not so people-pleasing, like Patchouly. I like Patchouly. This is a really deep and dark, maybe not so summery fragrance. Really heavy Patchouly. Reminds a little bit of psychedelic. It's from Profumum Roma. It almost goes into a deep chocolatey territory with maybe a hint of mint. There's a little greenness in it as well. I love fragrances like this. Then I also have another patchouli fragrance that I kind of had to learn to like, Arbolé from Hiram Green. This is a tonka vanilla, kind of greenish hippie patchouli. When it dries down, it's so incredibly beautiful. I guess I like fragrances kind of that you have to work with a little bit. Like maybe I don't like them from the first sniff. I have to wear quite a bit before I kind of get into it. Absolute Aphrodisiac is from Initio is an incredible fragrance that is gourmand leaning for sure, but it also has like a really nice sweet quality. There's an it has animalic touches that makes it kind of digestible and kind of round. It's not like I just got rid of Lyra because I just never wore it. It's too sweet and too cakey for me. What else? I love like good powdery fragrances. I just got these 3 from that are created from Sous le manteau. Sous le manteau, sorry. It means under the cloak. They're created by Natalie Feisthauer. They're kind of like powdery style, heliotrope leaning fragrances that are kind of right up my alley. I do love Iris. And Iris maybe sometimes does not, you know, last. A good Iris fragrance doesn't last maybe forever, but they can project really well. I'm going through a sample of Fatal Charm from Xerjoff. That one projects really well. I love that. I don't have a bottle, unfortunately. Iris Prima is a really nice, soft, suede-ish kind of iris. This one is just so beautiful. I think this one is discontinued. And just to inform you, I try not to talk too much about discontinued fragrances on this channel because I do want people to be able to go out and get the fragrances that I talk about and not have to like, you know, like pay a fortune for a fragrance. And I've just decided that I'm never going to like be upset or cry or get depressed because I can't get a hold of a fragrance. Because look, there's so many fragrances to wear. So why get upset about that one fragrance that you want to get a hold of? It just doesn't make sense to me. Another iris that kind of represents my taste is this really fresh, citrusy iris with a little hint of fig from YSL Exclusives. It is Trench. Really beautiful. It does remind of Infusion D'Iris from Prada, which I also have in my collection. Super beautiful, works year-round, a good, nice morning fragrance. I love my ouds. I just brought out a few to kind of show you. Oud Satin Mood, one of the few fragrances that I call a masterpiece. It's a 10 out of 10. Another one that's a little bit more, I only wear this like 3 times a year because it's so darn heavy, and it kind of calls for a special occasion, maybe a rainy night, or I wear this at home too, just for myself, but it really stays with you. It's a 24-hour fragrance. That's how long it lasts. Terrific Oud Extreme is a little bit more of an easier oud wear. It's a little woody. It's a little more maybe masculine leaning than this other one. I am very much into the house of Amouage, so if you're watching my channel, you'll see a lot of that coming up. I'm exploring that house. I got lots of decants, only 1 bottle, and it's this one, Overture Woman, which I'm not sure I should have bought, but I mean, it's really, really boozy, and I really don't like boozy fragrances that much, and it's really sweet. I think that's kind of where I wish it were less sweet. Maybe I'm going to explore layering this a little bit. But I really, I'd love a bottle of Journey. I'd love a Woman. I'd love a bottle of Guidance. I like Honor. Epic Woman is beautiful. I love that. I mean, that style. Incense is kind of like in my perfumes, but I don't have many like super incensey fragrances. I have the decant of Epic Woman, but I typically layer it because I think it's so heavy. It's really beautiful with Blossom Love because Blossom Love I think is lacking something and gives me too much of a like shower gel feeling, and Epic Woman is a little much. So together they're just incredible together. So that's what I do sometimes too. I think this fragrance from Élisire, it's called Desired, represents my taste really, really well. It's an oud. It has patchouli, vanilla, saffron. I'm kind of getting into saffron more, but it's a very like Middle Eastern type fragrance. It's sweet, but it's not too sweet. It's so darn good. Sometimes I'll veer into another direction. This is not a typical fragrance, but it's just a purchase that I do not regret. It is Musk Palawan from Lorga Perfumes. It's kind of an expensive house. I bought it from a friend and was able to go through, you know, like a smaller decant before I bought it from her. It's like a musk, ylang ylang, vanilla, coconut fragrance that has a marine touch, marine notes. There's also, I'm sure, some exotic fruits in here, although it's not listed. But it's so creamy, so beachy, so vacation-y, without smelling like sunscreen. Really, really beautiful. Sandalwood I've been exploring too. I got a bottle of this last summer, Santal Complete from Fragrance du Bois. It also has coconut. I do like a nutty component in fragrance if it doesn't go too gourmandish, which I find that a lot of nutty fragrances do. Other than that, I do like it. This one I'm just not so sure about because I don't wear it so much for some reason. I thought I would wear this like every day, but then this happens to me a lot. Like when I get a full bottle, I stop wearing it. So I have to make a change there. What else? No, but I think this kind of gives you a picture of what I'm into. The houses that I appreciate are Amouage. I love Xerjoff. Houses that I'd like to look into more are Oman Luxury, Mizensir, you know, Alberto Moria's house. I love Ambre Magique. Les Indemudables is a house that uses a lot of natural ingredients. I have an ambergris perfume from there called Escale en Indonésie, which is not representative for my taste really, but I really, really love it. They have a good powdery musk there that I really want to get my nose on. I like the YSL exclusives. I like Rosendo Mateu, the numbered ones, 1 to 7, I think they are. I'm into Chanel exclusives as well. I don't like them all, but I do appreciate that line a lot. I'm kind of considering trying Cuir de Russie again. I mean, I'm warming up to leather, but like I was listening to the Top Note the other day. She said she's really picky about her leathers, and I feel the same way. Like I really like a nice soft suede note, or when leather is kind of just a part of the fragrance, kind of in the background, but it's not like, because I feel like when leather is a prominent note, it goes a little sour sometimes, or it's too heavy, or I feel like a man when I wear it, and I don't like that type of fragrances. Fragrance houses that I don't like, and that I'm not probably going to be looking into more unless you absolutely insist, are Nicolai, I don't like so far, Mancera, Montal, Byredo. Unfortunately, I'm Swedish and I don't like this house. I feel bad about it, but I just think that their fragrances they're just not good. Some of them I can't smell at all. Some of them I think are so loud, and so loud in the wrong kind of way, like Bibliothèque, Slow Dance. I had bottles of these, had to get rid of them, just found them unwearable. And I don't talk much about designers. I do try to try them when new things come out, like from Armani or from Dior, like in the more like those that you can find at the mall. But I usually get really bored. I find them they all smell the same. It's like when you go into a tax-free shop. I'm going on a cruise on Wednesday. I probably will go in and I'll probably sniff something. They have some Chanel fragrances there. I really like the Chanel No. 5 flankers, like the one No. 5 No. 5 Au Première. Those are really good. I probably won't buy one though, because I'm not really supposed to be buying fragrances right now. I'm not so into traditionally traditional fragrances marketed towards men, and vintage fragrances. Like I do like vintage fragrances, but they're so hard to get a hold of, and I don't feel like I have to spend my time. I mean, it would be like blind buying. Like I'm really interested in smelling like Jiki and Mitsoko and the original formulas and all that. And I would love to just pop by Ramsey's house. You know, Ramsey with, he's a YouTuber that I watch a lot, and just kind of, you know, just sniff my way through his collection, having him guide me. I think that would be really, really interesting. There is someone here in Sweden that has a really good vintage collection, and I'm sure I could get my nose on some oldies, and it would be great fun. But this channel is going to be more about new releases or things that are still on the market. That's what I try to talk about, because I think that is most helpful. But it's fun. It's not like I don't want to try vintage, because I very much like vintage fragrances. And before I end this video, I just like to tell you a little bit about my fragrance, my scent of the day. It is Lys Solaberg from Maison Crivelli. This one, I love travel sizes, by the way. As soon as I can get my hands on an original travel size, I try to get, because I just think that this size suits me so well. I don't finish fragrances that often anyway. This is a really nice, so hard to describe, this fragrance. It's described as a lily fragrance with kind of a little bit of smoky base, but there's so much else going on in here. It has kind of like a fruity top. And then I think it has orris in it too. It's powdery. This fragrance, the only problem I have with this fragrance is that it does not project very well. It has a really nice citrusy top. I think it's bergamot. And then it has like a very unusual note called wine lees. It's kind of like whatever's left in the bottom when you're making wine, kind of like a fermented kind of, I don't know, residual product. Is that even a word? Yeah, and I think this has also some like carrot seed. There's something earthy going on in here. I mean, I really like it. I really like this fragrance. This is an easy wear. It's an easy grab, but it doesn't project. So I would not get a full bottle of this. I find this house in general to be very kind of easy, a lot of easy wears, except those ones that are, I think they're another concentration, or the extrait or le parfum maybe. Like the amber one and the hibiscus one are a little bit more bold and maybe more difficult to wear. Now I'm kind of getting off topic here. I was going to talk about what I talk about on this channel, but okay, I'll just summarize. Ambery fragrances inspired by the Middle East, resins, leather in the background, woodsy notes, vanillas, spices, heavier floral fragrances. I mean, I love a good heavy white floral. I like yellow floral. I like purple floral. I don't like rose so much. Like a dominant rose fragrance is really not for me. There are exceptions for sure, but I'm kind of off that. I've never really been into it either, like a classic rosy fragrance, especially not mixed with citrus that like are in a lot of the Penhaligon's fragrances. I don't like Coco Mademoiselle that has that structure. I find that to be too ladylike, too boring. But then I do love iris, soft iris, powdery iris, heliotrope. I love heliotrope. I don't like so much sweet, like honey and tobacco fragrances. That's not my style at all. Or fougères, so much like a classic barbershop for men. I don't like that type of fragrances. I sometimes can like pine in fragrance, or like very, very green notes, like galbanum, like petitgrain, like really like those fresh, sharp green notes, herbal notes. I mean, I don't know if I mentioned Dhajala from Xerjoff. This represents my taste pretty well. This has a real greenness to it, and a bunch of florals, but it also has kind of a nice ambery base. Tolu from Ormond Jane represents my taste really well too. It's like floral, ambery. I love anything kind of in that territory. This was one of my first, Granada from Memo. This is one of my first kind of niche fragrances when I was getting into niche. This is an orange blossom. I do love orange blossom. This is pretty sweet though. I don't wear it so much anymore, but this is a really good compliment getter. I don't think I've ever worn it. And this is not something I'm just saying. I'm saying I don't think I've ever worn this without getting a compliment. People are like, oh my God, what are you wearing? Because it's like, and I know everyone likes it. It's just such an easy wear. I guess that's why I never wear it anymore. I don't wear it that often. But I do like it at a party. If I'm going dancing, I might wear it sometimes because I know that it pleases others and it kind of makes others go wow, because it's like that first step into niche, and the quality and like the way the composition is just so much. It's way better than a standard designer, at least according to my nose. But now I'm getting a little bit bored with it. Another floral. I'm going to try to wrap up this video. I'm not doing so well, am I? That I really find like to be luxury is Artemisia from Penhaligon's. This might have rose in it, but it's only one flower in the whole composition. This has really beautiful floral notes. It has a little bit, the Artemisia I think adds a little tiny bit of, is Artemisia the bitter note? I think it has a little bit of bitter greenness in the top. It's not too sweet. It's very vanillic. It has a note of green apple, making it a little bit tart. It's so, so pretty, this floral. It's a very easy wear. I could wear this to the gym. I can wear it in an office, in a crowded car with other passengers. It's just such an easy wear. So I do have some of these like easy grabs in my collection too. I mean, I could wear Iris Prima as well. These would be like both really easy reaches. This one has a little more depth, I would say. Well, that I think kind of wraps it up. I'm open for a good oud, a good, yeah, like Middle Eastern kind of fragrances, and just anything new that comes out, though, in the niche world, I'm sort of interested in if it's not super masculine leaning, because I'm not like into that grapefruit, lavender, herbal, barbershop style. I feel that is too, it doesn't, I don't know, maybe it's just my associations. Like I've learned that that's something for men, and I keep feeling like I'm, when I was trying this new fragrance house last week, Mint, and I was wearing Moonglade, I kept feeling like a man, like, oh, I feel like a man, you know? And why would lavender be something for men? I think that's kind of stupid, but I guess I'm a product of my time, you know? I feel that is a little bit not so interesting to me, but that could change. And I do sometimes like, you know, I find vetiver to be a kind of masculine note, but I'm starting to appreciate it more. So a lot of things could happen with my taste. Maybe I'll just have to take this video down, make a new, like, this is my taste kind of video in a couple of years. Who knows? But that's me. I'd be very happy if you'd follow me, but I want to get the right followers, those of you who might have an overlap in taste that would be interested in the fragrances that I talk about. So welcome to follow my channel if you're one of those people. Bye-bye.